Hello and welcome. It's Val Evans and it's March 11th, and we're talking about the eclipses today. I'm astrologer Val Evans. It's a special event today because I'm talking about eclipse season. For the solar eclipse, we often talk about what is new and what's coming into our lives. For the lunar eclipse coming up at the end of the month, it can be more emotional and what we are letting go. Hello, Kim and Jody and KK. Nice to see you. So, an eclipse occurs when three celestial objects become aligned. And the sun is eclipsed when the moon's shadow falls on the earth. And in other words, the light of the sun is blocked by the moon. The solar eclipse will fall in Aries this year. Now, on April 8th, 2024, North America will experience the world's longest land based total solar eclipse in over a decade. So it's a special one. The path of totality will cross parts of four states in Mexico, 15 US states, and five Canadian provinces, allowing around 40 million people to witness the celestial spectacle. For those within the path of totality, it will bring the longest totality on land since the total solar eclipse on July 11th, 2010 in Easter Island. So today I have got some interesting examples for you for how a person's life can change for the better or worse. And I've been looking at some of these charts and threw in some true crime examples. So I thought you'd like that. Hello, Angel and Marion and Bianca. And you're saying, I don't know why I find it so difficult to get my head around this. It's very interesting. Mom to three kitties. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Marion, I'm very interested in your thoughts too. So Marion is our resident psychic. So always interested. And Cyan's here. Melissa, Natalie is here. Good to see you all. Okay, so the lunar eclipse. Now that's coming up this month, March 24th to 25th. And it's caused by the Earth blocking sunlight from reaching the moon and creating a shadow across the lunar surface. So it's going to be in Libra, and usually with that comes like endings, which also mean beginnings. And this time it will combine the energies of both Pisces and Aries. So they're going to be gaining traction simultaneously. Yes, great to see you, Melissa. Thank you. All right. So why do I call this a game? Because it's always nice to see other people's lives and what their charts look like, because the eclipse can seem kind of daunting when you're looking at charts or your chart and you're just seeing a lot of red lines everywhere and you're like, "Oh my god," and it always just seems like a disaster. So I put some charts in my presentation today so you can see that there are some charts that look pretty bad, but they ended up being pretty amazing. So now the true crime ones, I can't promise anything on those, but they will be in the mix. I know, actually, Marion, it is my pick. It was just taken a while ago. So now we are going to go to my first slide here. So yeah, the solar eclipse is like a new moon on steroids. And that's not going to be coming in until April 8th. So we're going to be talking about that specifically in a bit. But I'm going to show you a few slides that basically represent the solar eclipse. Okay. Yeah, I'm not broadcasting video today, so you should only be seeing the slides right now. I know it's unusual when I'm not on video. So, yes. Oh, okay. Marion, I know. I had to cop to that being taken back in 2016. Okay, so this is the boy next door. And this is when the eclipse, it was 2016. I have quite a few examples in 2016. It was quite a year, I gotta say. And this was for him, for the solar eclipse, it was in July, and this is against his transit progressed chart. Okay, so hopefully you guys know how to pull that, and I'm going to show you a little bit later. So, oops, that's the next one. Okay. So when you're looking at a chart, it might look like this, and you might see something that looks like this. It's an opposition. It goes from the top to the bottom. It usually means like a collapse. What is going to happen? And so this would be taking place in this boy's life at the time. But what was happening simultaneously was that he would be getting an opportunity of a lifetime where it would completely change his life. And when you want to look at opportunities, it is a good idea to look at the seventh house. It is the house basically that represents a contract. And so for him, it was in Taurus. And so you can see the Lord of Venus right here. And it would represent a contract ending and basically a contract that is beginning, which is this. So this is a little bit of a special. Now here, here's the eclipse right here. And this it's kind of super, super potent because Pluto is in the mix here. So it's extreme. And the North Node always shows us what we're going to be getting. So this is hitting his second house. Boy, did he get a lot of money this year. All right. So that was a really good thing. And then also, let's see, Mars. Mars is representing a job, basically. And it's right in here in the third house. He had a job that was local, which was fine. He really liked it. I'm not sure if he was actually working at that job at the time. But if you want to look at your job, you're going to look at the sixth house and the sixth house Lord, which for him would be here. And then also for your career, you're going to look at the MC and the Lord, which is going to be the sun down here. Okay. So, so basically right here is Jupiter, and Jupiter rules the second house. So again, another confirmation here that this would be a huge, huge amount of money, and it's being activated by the eclipse. So ninth house is an international contract. So really exciting for him. And this is actually Harry Styles. And what happened around this time was this is a singing contract, which is Venus. Okay. And this one contract, which was One Direction, it stopped. It just crashed. And yet he was offered another solo career, given a lot of money. And another thing too is, let's see here. We have, yeah, so there is his, sometimes when you're kind of like confused and you don't know really where to look first, you can look at your ascendant Lord. For him, it's Pluto. So, this is sextiling Saturn in the 11th house of hopes and dreams. This is just a lot of hard work and, just excitement. So when you see things that are kind of activating at the time of the eclipse, I look at it as a complete picture. Okay. It's a chart. You don't just look, I mean, other astrologers have different opinions, but I look at everything. And then you see, Okay, well, what's going on with the eclipse? Hey, Joanna, nice to see you. That's a good thing. Post woke world, nice to see you. Great, you could come in, Jen. And let's see. So yeah, this would really activate his money, and really nice when you have, especially like a trine or something that is really positive, pointing to the first house or the first house lord. And unfortunately, I think this might be a few people who were involved in his former contract, maybe bandmates or something, and there's Pluto there. So there could have been, Pluto represents, jealousy and betrayal. There could have been some hard feelings there. So, but in the meantime, he becomes an international superstar. So here is another star, and she got a big opportunity. This was in 1993, and this is the solar eclipse. It was in Gemini. And look at this trine. And again, 11th house, hopes and dreams. This is like, to die for, especially when there's a stellium with 3 planets. And let's see, are they all in 11th? Looks like maybe one of them's in 11th. The other one, no, they're all together anyway. So it's really still going to activate the 11th house. And so this person had some help from her uncle. And the third house is the uncle. So he's helping her with her talent. She's an unknown. And basically, it just accomplishes everything she's always dreamed of. And it's this big mystic triangle. Everything is working together. Uh, lots of negotiating and selling. Third house is to sell, basically. And now for her what's really interesting is that you can make it big. You can do something really important and still have your 10th house lord be retrograde, which is what she's proving right here. The eclipse is giving her MC Lord strength. Okay, so it's just like, basically you're kind of a good football player, but then you get a shot, and then a shot of steroids, and a terrible example, but then boom, you're winning games. And that's kind of like what often the eclipses will do if you've got a good aspect to a really important planet. So and this would be Aaliyah. This is when she was discovered. Her uncle helped her, and her ascendant was at that time in Pisces. So the same Lord for her in her chart was the same for the MC, and it's right here in the 5th. When it comes to her contract, this is the contract. It's in Virgo. Mercury right here. So her contract is it's amazing. And it's a partner in music, Libra. So you're going to see Libra and Taurus when you're talking about, kind of talented stuff. I know. It's the whole thing is terribly sad. Now, we can have a lot of good news here, but we still need to see what else is going on. And do you want to look at her 6th house, or would you like to look at her 10th house? Now we're going to look at Jupiter. So it seems like it's on its way. It's got that strength. But let's talk about a coworker here. 6th house represents coworkers. And you've got Black Moon Lilith in there. And some guy, I wonder who that is. He's a Leo. He's a big bully. And so kind of trying to pull her back from this contract a bit, pulling her back from that sun, which is her vitality, her self-confidence, making her feel a little bit less than what she is. So, and let's see. Yeah, her significant other would become R. Kelly. He's right there, right there. And makes sense that he's right there in that first house, which shows that he's all around her. Wherever she looks, he's there. And there's Black Moon Lilith. So she's got that kind of black moon, there's a little bit of nefarious energy around, and she's a young kid. So she kind of had to figure it out herself. But as far as accomplishing her dream that year, that again, that was in 1993, and this is the chart over her transit progressed chart for May 21st, 1993. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know much about her early years. Yes, it was. All right, so this is an actress, and we didn't see much of her until last year. And this is just her progressed chart. Sometimes I like to just look at the progressed just to make it look a little bit simpler. But the transit chart over the progressed is really going to give you more of an idea, and I think a much clearer idea of how the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse is going to affect you. So right now I'm looking at the what was it? Solar eclipse. If you ever want to figure out somebody's beginning, you look at the solar because that's the new moon. If you want to look at somebody who is, closing out, you look at the lunar. At least that's my general rule. And if you guys think differently, you have to let me know. But this is the progressed chart for this actress, very talented actress. She was very popular and had a show for a long time, and then I didn't see much of her. So last year was just a complete turning point for her. Now, what's really interesting is in general, you see a Uranus and on the MC, that's a lot of changes in your career. You're like constantly trying to change, and it is extremely frustrating, especially with this opposition here. With this stellium of planets. Now, Venus can mean moon. I'm sorry, Venus can mean money. I knew it started with an M. It can show pain. There might have been something, she might have hurt herself physically because Sun, the body, is here. And there might be some kind of scarring or some sort of, I'm not sure what. The sixth house of health, it's in Cancer. So looking okay there, but moon is in Aries, not so great, but we're not talking about her health. We're talking about her career. And Neptune is in the 10th house. I love Neptune when it's aspected well in the 10th house. It just shows a dream career, like you have to pinch yourself. And then when you have a trine to the moon, that is big, big fame. Sextile to Pluto, incredible fame. So something is happening. And what's interesting is her ascendant here is in the last couple of degrees of Aquarius. She's about to move on to Pisces in the next year or two. And so that her whole life is about to change. She may even have a dream life because let me tell you, she's going to be able to buy a new house. That's for sure. So this is now quite a difference when you look at the transit progressed. And it just looks like a mess, doesn't it? You've got an opposition here. This is the eclipse here. And yet the moon here, this is in green, this is her progressed moon, and it's trining that Neptune. So still an incredible amount of success in her career. And let's see, in the meantime, too, in her second house, she has Uranus, which is conjunct Mercury. And that's like a big shock, like a nice shock. And it's going to her fifth house. It certainly shows, and I haven't said who it is yet, in case you're wondering, and you just joined. But this is, oh, Mercury represents a home. And could mean that she's getting ready to move because she's doing so well. And yet, her one thing that is probably one thing that is probably daunting to see is you've got these malefics with Pluto right there. And it is, it's kind of like it's in the eighth and ninth houses just joining together. And it seems like kind of causing a problem. Might even cause a problem with siblings, neighbors. Sort of on the outset, it doesn't look as if there's that much harmony here. And sometimes the eighth house, if you're married, I'm not sure if this actress is married, it can show that it's the second house of the partner. And so, they might have a hard time with their their financials. But on the whole, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good year last year. And this is America Ferrera. So she was in the Barbie movie. And wow, her career has really kickstarted. I know, I know. So it gives you hope too. When you see something like this, you're like, oh my God. Now, it doesn't mean that she's not having other issues, but it does show that things can come in and just give you such a great feeling because, a trine with that eclipse, which would be, the new moon, something new would be coming in. And I'm sure they were just editing at this point. I think another chart you could do would be when she starts filming. This was just around the time they were about to launch the movie. I know. Yeah. So, and a lot of people have Uranus in the 10th for progressed, or I mean, natally. And it's not easy unless you're working in science, you're working at NASA or something. And, then it's just a little bit easier. But let's see, Neptune is Hollywood. Um, and also, so is Sag. Sag is movies. So it is kind of the summer surprise. And yet, Jupiter, which rules her 10th house, is retrograde. So it looks like crap right there. And, it's possible what happens simultaneously sometimes is when you are going for opportunities, you keep getting the door shut in your face, which is possible for what she was going through. And then it took for the movie to come out. And then things, Mars is moving on and she's not having this opposition anymore. So, it's complicated because when you look too far ahead, you don't understand all of the elements that are happening all at the same time. Okay. Valentina, how about when Jupiter opposite her MC and also her ruler? Jupiter opposite? Okay, hold on one second. Let me look. Okay, so I got Jupiter here in the second and opposing Pluto. Is that what you're talking about? And that's another thing too. When you've got, this isn't just a normal eclipse, and it's the same thing with Mercury retrograde. No Mercury retrograde is the same because sometimes you have planets conjunct that Mercury retrograde, and it can mean a lot worse than just, if Mercury was by itself. So this was definitely a uh, supercharged for her with Jupiter in her second house. So uh, this would be the eclipse plus the lucky Jupiter there, which of course would be for everybody. But for her, it would be really hitting her chart in a really auspicious way about the mundane transits. I mean, because Jupiter will enter. Okay, you were talking about this year. Yes, that's true. That's a good point. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is, Jupiter's coming in now and it's going to oppose. And this might, if her Jupiter, comes in and opposes this Uranus, there's a possibility that she's like, you know what, buddy, I'm, I'm successful with this Barbie movie. I'm reinvigorated. I don't think I want that contract. And so it's possible she might stop some kind of project that she's working on because of her past success. So good call on that. Hey Heather, nice to see you. Okay. All right. Now, all right, we're talking about the lunar eclipse, and you guys are going to be looking at your charts, and hopefully you'll see your transit progressed chart. And we're going to go over, if you have any questions about your own charts, please get them ready because I'd like to look at some of them or at least talk about some of the things that you might be concerned about. Now, with the lunar eclipse, it's an ending. And I'm just floored at what the lunar eclipse has told me about my life in the past few years. And, it does end something that just went on too long, and that can be really good. But the next question is, what are you going to end up doing? What's the next step? It's not always the best step, but you've got to, I guess, just stay positive because at least that part of your life is kind of over with. You can tie a ribbon on it and move on and say, thank you for that experience. Oh, okay, you did. Thanks, Marion. Um, I'll look it up, Heather. So I've got my computer here. Now, this is a fashion mogul, another 2016 chart when this person, uh, she was at the top of her game. And this is when, let's see, what date was that? It was the 2016 harvest moon, September 16th, the lunar eclipse. And this is how it was showing up on this woman's chart. And it was probably the biggest year of her life. I don't know if any of you can make any guesses. It's kind of hard. Now, her ascendant was just moving in to Pisces, okay? And just like America's is about to. And so she would identify as a Pisces rising just for the last couple of years and was just having so much success. Jupiter's here. And so it was all about her career. Yet you can see, and this might concern you too when you see something like this, you see a big red line here, and this Saturn is stopping it. Nope. It's a really good company you got there, but you're going to have to shut it down. Now, I think you might be um, maybe suspicious now on who this might be. You're going to have to shut this corporation down, and it's going to be really sad for you because you worked really hard. I mean, it's been a few years, and now the sun or the moon is very important. Your progressed moon. You want your progressed moon, and thankfully it moves faster than the rest of the progressed planets. But you really want to um, to be able to feel good emotionally. And with the progressed moon in Pisces with Neptune over this, I mean, this must have been extremely emotional for this person to have to completely stop. Now, Saturn and moon together means a death. Okay. And in the first house, this is her identity. It's the death of an identity. Yes, exactly. All right. So, but there's a couple of things that are coming in here, and the eclipse isn't helping. The eclipse is actually hurting her. And so, what is this? This is probably dad. Okay. He's saying, shut it down. And this would be Ivanka Trump. And Neptune in the 10th, what was she doing? She was selling shoes, which Neptune represents. And she was doing a great job online. Uranus, she was, yep, Melanie. Uranus was trining Neptune, meaning just really fast money, fast sales. And she decided, not that she didn't have options, but there was definitely sadness in having to let go of her identity. So, if you've got the eclipse in your first house, and hopefully you have a trine, but you might have a square. It's okay because that means you are about to gear up for something else, another job or position. And she would go and work with her father and be in the group that was the most powerful of those years. So she would trade that money for power. And so you have that sun right up there, which is power, really. It's interesting. Let's see. Her dad would be Saturn represents father anyway. But funny enough, Mercury would be her dad, and he's up there. And isn't that interesting that he's conjunct Black Moon Lilith? So some shady stuff. And ninth house, maybe shady with the press, not really, he's got his strategies and all. And let's see what else. Oh, Saturn also represents father. Okay. So we have him here. And look at how, and of course, it's pretty close to the eighth house, which is real estate. And, she's got the stellium here, basically in real estate. And then that opposition, boom, Uranus says, guy's going to have to sell off some of that portfolio. And truly looking at this chart, Ivanka's chart on the eclipse, and that was for September 16th. Little did she know in 2016 that she was about to completely change her identity, and it would change. It doesn't just mean that, you close up shop and you go home. It means something else is coming in. So I think it's a good example of that. So let's see. If this is really the father's house, and his wife would be really Mercury. You could do it both ways, because usually the Lord of the 10th is a mom. So that would be her actual mom. So I was trying to see, it's really her stepmom now. I wanted to see where she was, how they got along. Let's see, how would you do it? You go, just take the 10th house. That's the dad's house. 6, 7. That would be 7. His second wife would be the 6th. So the moon would be, ooh, ouch. That's a lot. It's Melania. I almost said Ivania. That is Melania, the moon. So no wonder there's a big square there. She's around, but she's not there. Anyway, so very interesting soul return chart for Ivanka Trump right before they were all shocked, which would be Uranus here. And, opposing dad, opposing so many people. The real estate empire, really. Oh, the third wife. Okay. So let's see the third wife. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would be that. and then it'd be Venus. Okay, which makes sense. Oh, well, this would be, I guess this that would be Marla Maples, but it's probably because Marla Maples isn't anywhere around. Anyway, Venus is here, and that's in the 11th house. Seeing anything there except the south node is sort of like, I don't know, we're talking about the eclipses here, so I'm kind of diverging, but it's such an interesting 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, really, what you could do is look at this would be Marla. This would be Melania. Yeah, Melania is the one that was shocked. You see that that opposition to Uranus. She was like, "Oh my god." All right, so enough of this silliness. Now we're going on to the diva. Hey, Tammy, nice to see you. All right, so this diva has everything, it seems. And you probably can already guess who it is. Now, this chart is again for 2016. How funny is it that I just kind of pulled these charts and then I realized that a bunch of them were in 2016. So funny. So this one, the same harvest moon hitting this diva a little bit differently. All right. So we've got, so this is, it's in Pisces. Okay. And hitting her second house in a way that is not very positive. It is squaring here Neptune. So sometimes it can show things of value can go missing, Neptune. And so I'll bet you you probably have a big clue right there. And then let's see here. We've got Uranus. Very difficult when there's an opposition here. So there are, yes, Marion, we've got the ninth house. So this is the ninth house of foreign lands, travel, and the press. And so there's a big shock. Uranus is shock. It's in the third house. Third house is a rental, which is what she was in. So this was a pretty difficult time for Kim Kardashian because she was robbed. And so this would show with her second house of diamonds and jewelry that would come into play there. So it doesn't really give too much more information, the eclipse itself. We could look at the fact that, there's a square to Neptune. And remember, these people were disguised. They came in and they left. These are a bunch of guys. These are men. And foreign men, But you've got a trine here. And my guess is that's probably insurance or something that helped her with this terrible shock. A lot of people thought too, a lot of people in the press and in the public thought that the whole thing was made up for her show. So Neptune would be pretty pretty prominent there. Ninth house, you're seeing, everybody's talking about it. And look at this, Venus. This is also money and things of beauty, and they all come crashing down. So, why would you want to read this at the same time you're reading the eclipse? Well, you want to know what the other details are, what the other things that are going on. So, and you would know because in the ninth house, she was traveling. She was traveling for Paris Fashion Week. And of course, that would be in Libra, which is fashion. And Venus is up there too. So, and Pisces is also jewelry. It's the bling bling. The photograph that she posed with that bling, and that was online. That's one of the things that the burglars saw. So they are right over that photograph. They see it. Lots of money. Venus conjunct Pluto is many, many millions of dollars. So, and all being shown in this photograph. So, oh yeah, she did. Hey, Toy, nice to see you. She was. So that was Kim Kardashian. And let's see what else we have. Got some true crime for you. I mean, this is true crime. Oh, and maybe I should also talk about this too. In this eclipse, we've got other planets in the mix. You know, this is Pisces, but we've got Neptune in there. So, you know, things are going to go out because maybe they go missing. And what are they? Well, maybe it's jewelry, you know. I mean, at least for her, it's going to show up in that second house and give it more of a profile of what it actually is. Okay. All right. So this is a wife. And let's see what we would do first. This is the transit progressed for a wife. I won't say who it is yet. You probably guess. And I keep saying that, but you guys are good guessers. This is for a lunar eclipse. Okay. So you can it's a partial lunar eclipse. So knowing that, what are you going to assume? Well, you're going to assume that something is going to be let go because of that lunar eclipse. So, and that is it's right up here. It's actually in Sag. Maybe I pulled this a little too early, but the node is right on Black Moon Lilith. And we also have Pluto. Pluto is in with that mix, which what does that mean? It means jealousy. It means intense. And it also, Pluto, right conjunct with an eclipse is super, super famous because, you know, we're talking about moon energy. This happened in May, by the way, May. And by the way, I believe it was, the solar eclipse for Aaliyah that we were just talking about also happened in May. And you know how I feel about May. Now you can still get some good contracts if it's at the end of the May, end of May or the very first few days of May. But you want to really avoid most of May because we are in algal season. So now imagine if there's an eclipse in May, it really activates, I think, that algal energy. Oh, I'm all about it, Cicada. I want to know too. Solar returns, I would think it would be, there's every reason to say yes. I mean, it deserves study, but I would think it would be more lunar eclipse. Exactly, Toy knows. So, yeah. So look at this conjunction in Leo. God, that is a lot. And Mars, that's a lot of. I mean, there's Uranus right there. And that's a good call, Valentina, because that is probably the main theme of this chart. This is a strike. Why? Because Uranus is a strike. Mars is a weapon, and it is in her fourth house. You also have her significant other. Her husband is Jupiter and also Pluto. So right here, you've got two. Jupiter is always the husband, no matter what. And then she also has the Lord of the seventh, which is Pluto. And so you can see this is her sun. This is her body, her self-confidence, and they are clashing. And it has to do with, something that is part of the family occasion. What are you saying, May? You told me May will be good. I don't know what you mean. Um, okay, so this, I think you're saying, Marion, that you're shocked about May in general. Yeah, May rue the day. Do not get married in May. If you are thinking about getting married in May, please don't. It's okay. Your guests will understand. They want you to have a good marriage. Now, this is all over her husband here. Pluto represents jealousy, a very famous husband, which is Pluto and the moon together, right over her progressed Jupiter. So this is Nicole Brown Simpson. And her ascendant is getting pretty close to Algol, which has to do with the neck area. And that would come up with regard to, how she would be killed. So it's a very difficult chart. Again, here the moon is up here in the 10th, but there is somebody here, and that's the 12th house. You want to look at your 12th house you always want to look at your 12th house because that's the house of hidden enemies, especially if you've got malefic planets in the 12th. You want to know what is going on here. Now, Mars would be a man and it would square her moon. This is abuse. Mars square moon is abuse. So, Empress is here. I've been promoting our show tomorrow, so I'm super excited. Now, and that's tomorrow night. Well, I'll have to go back to the promo, but I think it's is it at 8? Anyway. All right. So now I'm going to go to, I think that's all I have. Do you guys have questions about this? There's so much about just this chart, but look at this. This is an attack in the home. It's crazy. But another example of really being observant about the eclipse. Realize, we're always talking about the eclipse and, what sign it's in. And if it's in your sign between 0 to 5 degrees and all of that, it sounds really specific and great. Well, it's only half of what you got to look at. And that's why a lot of these astrologers say, look, I can only give you this much, but I have to look at your birth chart, which is true. But you can do it yourself and especially get those specific details if you go to that transit progressed house. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to go to AstroSeek and go to the birth chart. And let's say you were born in, January 90, New York. New York is going through such a hard time right now. I feel so bad. They're even cracking down on the pizzerias. It's just a mess. All right, so here is where you're going to click on, you see that? Transits and progressions. All right, and then you're going to see all of this, and you're going to click on the tab that says transits and progressions. Okay, so already you can see things start to form here with the moon. The sun has to move. Well, no, the moon's going to be moving. So, yeah, and so my God, look at all the planets. For good Lord, 1992. God help whoever whoever was born in 92, unless you've got a trine. Look at that. That's pretty good. But anyway, now that's how you're going to pull your chart. And let's see. Oh, Heather, you must have sent that to me on Instagram. Because I don't see it in my box. But anyway, so let's go to the date of the actual eclipse. And what do you want to look at? Do you want to look at the solar, what's coming in? We could look at that. And that is March 24th. I know. I like the interface. Exactly. Sure. I mean, the other ones are, I think, better in some senses, but I just feel like I'm looking at an interface from like the 90s or something. All right. So, what am I doing here? All right. So, what I want to do is I want to just go to a birth chart and I'm going to go to March. No, I'm going to March 24th. It's going to be an amazing eclipse and everybody's excited about it, and they're going to be looking at the solar eclipse in April, I think. One of the eclipses, right? Yeah, the one on the 8th, but it's going to be during Mercury retrograde. Not number 1, not a good idea to travel. Number 2, most astrologers that I know will say, don't look at the eclipse, don't go visit it, don't have a party. It's something where you just accept it and you move on. All right, so 24. I mean, I don't want to say bad omens, but you know, it kind of is. I mean, nobody wants to close something out. Well, that's not true. We can um we can celebrate the lunar eclipses when these bad things that we feel are negative leave our lives. So that's a good thing. So let's say New York. See what we got going on here. And okay. So here we go. And we've got the new moon. So this is, no, that's the sun. All right. So lunar eclipse is first. So that's March 24th. So this is the lunar eclipse. And it's over here. Okay. Wish I could write this or write some of my notes on here, but I can't. Now, we've got Black Moon Lilith here. So that's one thing that I would say, something tempting might be, we might be able to let go of something that kind of locked you in. Sometimes it's those, relationships where you can't say goodbye. So that's a good thing. And then you've got, depending on what the time of day is, you've got part of fortune in the mix there, and that can be very good. We have, oh, you don't have, oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. Okay. You see that? Thanks, guys. Okay. So here we have Libra here, and the lunar eclipse is in Libra. That is March 24th to 25th. And so, we've got, it's pretty strong, but what's really interesting is that we've got a trine to Pluto. That is, that's some famous stuff that is about to culminate. And it looks as if it could be like an invention or something, because this is Uranus. So you could really look at that and say, somebody's working away, Virgo working, somebody's being very fastidious. Could be even with Virgo, that's pets, it's cleaning, a cleaning invention of some sort. So you can see how that energy is really gracing the eclipse, that Libra. And of course this is what they're saying, that it's going to potentially shift a marriage or a relationship of some sort. It's possible. It's possible. Sometimes it's just your balance. And I think too, with that Black Moon Lilith in there, I think the light will be shining on things that you may not have known. those Black Moon Lilith types of energies. So, maybe hubby's gambling or, stuff like that. You're like, oh, that's what happened to my paycheck last week. So, so that's Black Moon Lilith in there. Okay. Glow with Flow, your sister's B day is March 24th. It's going, yes, there's significance to that because you're going to pull the solar return chart, and that is just going to have so much energy. The first month for her is going to really give her kind of an insight on what her year is going to be, but it should be something that I think could be very positive. It just depends on how it interacts with her chart. What's the trines? What are the squares? So, what did we say? Japan? Oh, that's right. Maybe an earthquake or something is happening. Okay. Uh, yeah, I think it's let me see. Let me double check. Solar. Yeah. So the solar is April 8th. And the lunar is March 25th. So and that's what I've been saying. Unless I mixed it up in like the last few sentences. But this is the chart for the lunar eclipse. And that's in Libra. That's why I don't do many eclipses because it's hard to keep track of everything. But yes, there is all of this energy, the Plutonian, but it's in good aspect. Oh, also invention in Japan. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. All right, now we're gonna go to oops, hold on one second. I'm gonna pull this next one. Hold on one second. All right, and I'm gonna pull this for let's see, be April 8th. At least it's not May. So that's the one good thing about it. That's going to be 2024. Yeah, so all of these people are making plans to come and see, the area, especially around Texas. And it's going to be a mess, I think. I mean, I know I'm trying to be optimistic and everything, but I don't think it's going to be good. God, why can't I do this? Hold on. My mouse. All right. Okay. So this is going to be the longest land-based total solar eclipse in over a decade. This is a big one. And I don't like this one either. Because we have a lot of Aries and that is whoa. And just people just are angry. So we're going to see even more so just reasons to make people angry. I mean, think of what could possibly make the public angry, and that's what's probably going to happen. And we also have 18 degrees, not a really good, this is the evil degree. So definitely something that is, what's really interesting though is there's a trine to part of a fortune. Um, so that could be good. That could be good that, you know, defending oneself might be successful. Uh, we also have, though, we've got a benefic in there. We've got Venus. And so that can be good. It- This little combo here, and, we're talking about this is something new. Um, this is meaning something new is coming in. So I think this might be a bunch of women. This could be activists, maybe. And, you might be seeing something that has to do with maybe abortion rights. I don't know. But it certainly looks like here come the women. And with Mercury retrograde, that's not a bad thing sometimes because they're going back over from history. They are, underscoring points. They are making a case. And it almost seems like maybe something is already in the works as far as planning. Like, let's just shut everything down and protest. And so I think that's possible. And Uranus there, Jupiter, Uranus, that is a big shock. And, and it also is the activist planet. So there's a possibility there that that has something to do with, these next 6 months, we are going to see some people who they have had it. And it seems as if they might be females, and successful females, people who maybe have money. Valentina, you said, I was reading about this eclipse and also about the moment when we have a bundle format in the chart. All the planets in the horoscope appear with a span of trine 120 degrees or 4 signs. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's common. It just depends which bundle or stellium you're talking about. But yeah, this is quite a bundle. And hello, Christine. Nice to see you. 18 is in my birth chart. There's a few mysterious things in my birth chart. I have an 18 too. You've got to just be careful because, yes, Empress Black it is. It is the thing about 18 is you just have to be careful because 18 can be critical. I mean, it's the Virgo degree. And the more you are critical, the more it can activate sickness. So you see a lot of times you see comedians being really mean. You could see news people just spewing hatred. And a lot of times they end up getting very, very sick. So you just have to watch yourself, and not that you would say anything, mean or evil, but sometimes, and it doesn't mean you necessarily, sometimes it can reflect a person in your life who, at the very least, maybe they like to use swear words, or, maybe they eat junk food if it's in Taurus. But so it manifests at 18 in different ways. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good call. Yeah, totally. These women are angry and they are fighting. Um, and there is, wow, they are getting a lot of money too. Look at all of that Aries. And, you've got Venus and Neptune as a singer. That's a female singer, and it's an angry female singer. And it's sextiling Pluto, which and I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the exact time. The houses are probably not correct, but still, there is a lot of money and power and success involved, and they are going to strike. So just watch yourselves. You better be on the right side of the Swifties. Critical thinking can really activate autoimmune issues. Yeah, absolutely. Is it 18 Scorpio? 18 Scorpio can be tough. Yep. And that's a Capricorn trait too, just constantly. Like I know of a person who feels bad on vacation, has to drive great distances in order to feel like the person deserves the vacation. It's like, if you are not working yourself to the bone, then what are you alive for? So it just depends on what your code is, how you are wired. Me, I could be on vacation all the time. So, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see who these angry women are. And they could be foreign women too, because we've got the North Node in there. We've got people being critical and powerful people being critical too. The sun does well in Aries. This could also mean heat. So we might see a more, I guess, a hotter few months coming up. This could be a lot. When we see, a lot of Aries, or if Mars comes closer to the Earth, that's when there is just a terrible drought. And so sometimes that can happen. But yeah, it sure looks like these women, they're successful. They could be singers, they could be actresses, because Neptune is actors. So yes, I know, vacation all the time. I have my son in the fifth house of Pisces. I mean, come on now. I would rather be at the beach, Marion. Oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Oh man. So basically, that's all I have for you guys today. And if you remember, please hit the like button. And if you're interested in this channel, hit subscribe. We're going to be talking about Shanquella tomorrow, Shanquella Robinson, and Empress Black's tarot's take. She's such a great tarot reader. So I'm looking forward to that. And we've got a whole bunch of other stuff coming up this week. So check my community tab. You'll see the schedule there and see what's coming up. And let me know too. I already got a couple of emails from people about suggestions on some of the, some of the cases that you'd like to hear about. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And it was great seeing you guys. Good night, everyone. And I will talk to you tomorrow.